The debate has waged over whether Australia should adopt nuclear power. The coalition has pushed nuclear power as an efficient, clean and affordable source of energy, a solution to climate change woes. By contrast, the Labor Party and Chris Bowen in particular have argued that nuclear power is infeasible. It's too expensive and is too time-consuming to build. It simply won't be constructed nearly early enough to be able to resolve climate change-related concerns, at least in their opinion. Therefore, Labor have banned nuclear power, seemingly not resigning from that position. Notably, however, Labor has backed the AUKUS agreement and has backed nuclear submarines. Furthermore, Labor doesn't appear to have raised safety concerns as an issue with nuclear power, nor have they raised any other issues as far as I can tell. The concerns are about how long it would take nuclear power to get off the ground and how expensive it would be. These are financial concerns. They are not technology concerns, they are not safety concerns. And therefore, the type of argument we're having is very different from what it might otherwise be. If the argument were over safety or over feasibility from an actual physical perspective, that's one thing. But when the argument is about the financials of it, well, that's another thing entirely. This is especially the case given that AUKUS agreement and the nuclear submarines. After all, if they're going to say that nuclear submarines are safe, but nuclear power is not, that's a difficult nuance to convey. Now, clearly the technology in the two is different, but putting that nuance is rather challenging, and people might reasonably believe that a nuclear submarine, which is tautologically going to be moving around and could potentially come under attack or break in action, as we've seen with other military equipment, it might plausibly have a higher risk of failure than a nuclear power plant that is just going to stay still in an area that has no earthquake risk. So what then is the solution? Well, I'm not a nuclear scientist, but I do know that if nuclear power is too expensive or too time-consuming, no one would invest in it. Investors in a free market simply wouldn't back it. Let investors decide, free from opprobrium and pressure, whether nuclear power is viable. If it's too expensive or it takes too long, it won't get built. However, if it would actually work out, then it would get built. It just needs to be given the same opportunity as every other power source, and then the market will decide. Now, of course, clearly there is a role for safety regulation. Clearly, we don't want nuclear power plants that are going to create major issues. However, if safety is not the concern, if the ability to construct it is not the concern, then let people decide what is feasible. Let people who would pay for it decide what is going to get off the ground. If it is truly too expensive, it simply won't be built, and the government will be proven right. However, if nuclear power is viable, the government would be proven wrong. Perhaps therefore, if there's no environmental or safety concern with nuclear power, then maybe the government should stop meddling in matters like this. Because at this point, the argument against nuclear looks rather weak. But let me know your thoughts about nuclear power. Do you want it? Do you dislike it? In the comments below. I'd be interested to hear what you think.